And I think probably everyone can hear each other from here, so I don't think we're going to need microphones to continue. So we're going to have a topic. The topic is on the wall, but it's near the circle. It's about our membership, about getting the most out of our memberships. It's about strengthening INAA, things that work, how to encourage referrals. And the idea is that the people who are in the middle, they are the only ones allowed to speak while they are in the middle. Okay, and that's important. I'll come to that in a second. Starting with just kind of what works with them, and the conversation will then flow off, and there'll be different things. At certain points, people on the outside will realise, actually, I've got something that I think I could share or question. I would like to go into the middle. And that's not a problem. So let's just say, for the sake of the argument, Edward, you decide that you would like to join the circle. You would come over here, and you would decide which member you wish to replace. It's entirely up to you. And say you wanted to replace Vic, you'd simply stand here behind Mika, opposite Vic, so Vic could now see 2 minutes, so you can kind of get into it, and I will make an announcement that if anybody wishes to join the circle after a certain point, then they feel free to do so, and that's it. Any questions? Yes, Trush?
What if I go there, I have just 1 point, will someone quickly come and replace me?
Well, if you only got 1 point and you feel that you've addressed and you've got nothing else to add, simply just go out, and the chances are somebody will go, oh, empty seat, I'll have that. So, don't worry about it. Okay, if that's the case, Vic, would you like to kick off?
Sure. No choice. I can talk about some of the things that I've seen happen in the last couple of years, which is, as members at these meetings, we're finding more and more opportunities to interact. We're having sort of networking dinners, networking opportunities, and we've talked for years about getting our staff more engaged. We now have a leadership program that we've started, and so I think it's, as we sit around in these meetings, it's what's next. What came to mind is we have the gentleman who presented to us about LinkedIn. Well, maybe we should have thought of a way that we can all have follow-up sessions with him. You know, again, ways of building opportunities to either work together or experience things together as members. So that's just some initial things that come to mind, like what more can we be doing for members? But I think we've started down a road that has been very, very helpful.
I'd like to build on that, because I think you make a valid point. We've talked about this for the past years, that we feel the need to have more concrete kind of working sessions. You can tell, like the meeting we had this morning, people start to get creative, they see things that they want to explore. It would be interesting to have more time to have like little parallel work groups where you have maybe a working session with others, and you can bounce off ideas and just really try and put things into practice for your own firm. I think that's something we should build on. I think it would help us all to take something back home and share with the staff.
We're talking about referrals in terms of, I think for us, the value we get out of INAA is knowing trusted people offshore, and every good referral story I have, they're all outbound ones. But I think then with the partnerships and the work towards doing the partnership is really important, because we get inbound and the first question, we can set up a company to do all that, but we can't set up a company's directorship. So having a partnership with law firms and things like that is going to make a big difference to us, I think, and certainly coming into Australia, it's the number one sort of impediment. We can do everything else, but we can sort of find a director or sit on it.
If at any point anyone wishes to join from the outer circle, then feel free to do so. Please carry on, folks.
And talking to potential new members occasionally.
Well,
Good.
obviously.
Talking to potential new members, they ask, what do we get out of there? And it's particularly being at the bottom of the world, if you like, all Australia at the bottom of the world, you've got to come to these meetings, because there's so much, and we come for ideas and for workshops and things like that. The webinars we don't attend because they're all at midnight onwards for us, which is hard. And again, it's the attendance. So recording doesn't make a difference for us because it's about being live and interacting with whatever the conversation is going on.
Thank you. Yeah, for me personally, it's always important to attend the meetings, to meet the people, and to learn up-to-date topics. And one important point always is, it was said as a former INAA meeting, to look outside the box. And for me, this is always an important point at INAA meetings and with the whole INAA family.
But it's good to know sometimes that we're all struggling with the same things.
Yes.
Yeah, coming with ideas about, we're struggling with staff retention or whatever it is. It's good actually just to know everyone's struggling and then to come up with the ideas about what people doing. And sort of, I think Jeremy shared last time, the positive comments for staff, making sure everyone contributes, and we took that back and made it. I didn't think it would make a difference, but it did make a huge difference.
You're right. I always find that I leave here with ideas because over here it was part of the conversation we'll have this morning where we're seeing how folks, I especially on the small side, so it's nice that some of you larger firms take these initiatives to create these new processes and workflows and ideas, way to attract people, how to retain them. That's really the things that I take back, and then I can also follow up with you and say, yeah, I can call you about a technical issue, I can also call you for how are you dealing with the humanistic, the HR, the retention, those sorts of sides. That's very, very helpful for me.
Thank you.
You want to sum it?
You set it up.
We've all seen that happen now once, that's all you need to know. You stand opposite the person you want to leave the circle. So
Yes.
Thank you very much, Gabby, for coming forward. And actually do use the microphone, folks, because it's not so clear at the moment.
Yes, so for me, referrals, what can be improved is the follow-up. Because when you give a referral, you don't know what is happening with it. And if the other colleague in the other country indeed has a new client, you don't know it. Sometimes you do because you get feedback, but sometimes you don't know what is happening with your referral. So I think that should be a point of improvement, that you are in the loop of what is happening with your referral.
I think it's
a very good point, because we have seen instances where the feedback is not being returned, or a question that's been sent abroad is not being answered. Those are the things we need to be very vigilant about too, in terms of quality and seeing that referrals are actually being taken up if they're sent out.
And you mean even if you make the contact and if it didn't work on the other side, you won't get a feedback. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then you say it's something happening on
Yeah.
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 And,
Okay.
and that would be nice to know, just to
Yes.
see if there was a follow-up, or even if they reacted to my referral.
Yeah.
Because maybe they didn't react at all, and then maybe, or it came like at the wrong person, or in this case, you might lose a referral because you don't know what is happening with it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I hate awkward silences. Okay, so just on the topic of strengthening INAA and quality across borders, what I found very interesting this morning is what you guys were saying you were doing in terms of RPA. And I can't help but wonder, do the rest of the firms know what each other are doing? What tools we're using? Because that's all going to enhance quality. So maybe it would be a good idea to create a platform or forum where people can share things like that.
There is a platform.
There is a platform, and I think it should be used more to promote your own activity, because there is a page for each firm, and I think it's not detailed enough to see what you're doing, and maybe that is also an issue we can work on, each of us, to improve our own image there, that others know, okay, I can refer that person, or I cannot, because they are not doing, for instance, I don't know, audits, or they're not doing taxes or whatever. If they are not doing that, it's no use to give them a call.
Yeah.
There's also something like going over to the other firms.
Yeah.
And in Holland we can see each other in SRA levels, etc. But if we go to other firms, like we went to Sobel Road some years ago, and then we discuss what they've got in place and what we've got in place, and you can learn from each other like that. And we should have more international travel going on to each other's offices and see what they do better over there, and you can learn from it. We should have it possible to do it also like here in this group, because everyone has specialties which are very nice. Well, we learn a lot of you. So that's the way we can move forward without so much hassle, because you learned us the tricks. So, well, we should have something in place there. Or, I don't know.
But maybe we could do that without more traveling, and it may be good if we could have more of those groups who will lead.
Yeah.
As Gabby said, there is a platform, but maybe we should bring more input from ourselves. What I wanted to say is that there is knowledge, but maybe no one knows how much, what kind of, and maybe we should implement more hosts like you, for example.
By the way, people are able to rejoin the circle if at any point you've left. There's no restriction.
And you could think about having ambassadors on a certain topic, or if you're talking about software implementation, if you have somebody in your firm of which you know, oh, they are very well knowledge about a certain aspect, people might learn from it. Try and facilitate making a group on the INAA. It's easy. You just click on create a group and start tagging people and getting people involved. It should be pretty easy.
I have to release my voice.
Neither if you could leave the circle.
Get somebody else to step in.
I think this discussion shows that everything is about communication, and this is relating to the theory of systemic organizations, because we are an organization, and organization only works with communication, and communication has to be so good that the next communication will be afterwards. And we have 2 meetings again, and then we have a peak of communication. A very positive vibe, so everybody is feeling this. It's also an emotional thing, coming together, making things together. And after this peak, it comes down to zero. You're missing the people, you're looking forward to the next meeting, perhaps you can't make it because of great distances, time, and so on. And I think the challenge would be to keep this communication, to keep this vibe, this positive vibe, on a constant high level, with the help of AI, of apps, of I don't know. So the idea of creating the INAA app was that keeping in mind, so how can we use this thing just to be in touch to each other, not only at management level, to bring in the staff, to have people from all over the world in a short while, but combined with this special emotion we all feel by taking part in meetings. So this INAA app is a good start, but it is kind of a bit dead because there's no life in it. And I think it would be good to have a procedure to give staff people more easy access. It's too complicated. It doesn't pop up or here's something new you have every time you have to log in. It's not as smart as we know from WhatsApp. And the experience I had in my office, they always frightened about language. And we saw this morning how easy it is just to communicate in your own language, and it translated automatically. And I think this will lower barriers on staff level just to get in contact to each other. And I know from Zweitemans, I have sometimes contact to your colleagues, and they're writing in Dutch, and it's automatically translated in English. And I can even write them back in German, and it will translate in Dutch. So I think it should be possible to do the same in the app, for instance. So we should think about how can we keep this high level of communication by the means of the app or something other instrument, but combined with this emotional thing, you know what I mean?
I know a solution for that. With the leadership program, we have a social, like half an hour, and they pick a few people from our group, and we just talk about random topics. So we could do that with all of INAA members, do like a monthly session for half an hour, just maybe use a bot or something to pick out members, and those 3 or 4 people take half an hour of their day to talk about random stuff. So that's all I have to say.
You can't see? That's all I have. You have to say. I just wanted to say something in reply to Fergus. So just the webinars, they are all recorded. So so you can reach out to the webinars whenever you want. Really, it's easy to access. Also, indeed, in terms of knowledge about the firm, the only way we can share knowledge is if you share it with us. We can't. Anything, it can be the anniversary of your firm, it can be a new partner, it can be even winning a new client if this is something you can share. Anything that is relevant, that you think might be relevant for the other members to know that you are a firm that they will want to work with, in the future. The same for any topic for the meetings. Feel free to tell me, okay, there's this topic that I know of and maybe it's just interesting for the members, and we can add that to the agenda of the meetings, or we can do a special online session for that. So really don't hesitate to tell us.
Possibility to ask into the community, okay, I have a client who wants to set up this business. Maybe makes sense that he build up his business, his holding in the Netherlands, Belgium, or UK. If any one of you have a better idea, what's the best solution for the client? And in other fee level, it's completely, I'm completely free who will take care of him, but I want that the client has the best solution and the best care.
I love the fact that you're just talking about you're coming from a perspective of abundance. I'm good here, and I know that my client needs something, and if I get business from it, great, but if my client gets satisfaction, then there'll be a whole load of flow over from that, which is essentially what we're talking about. So we need to think about, and this is something that perhaps other people have got ideas on, how do we do this? What's the method of doing this? We've got the INAA app. Is that the right place to do it? I don't know the answer to that question. Can we be looking at gamification of these things? Putting together success stories. There must be a number of success stories in these rooms. Well, maybe we could sit down and actually get 2 or 3 people that have worked together. This is what we did. This is what the solution. This is what our client got. And maybe it's a show reel here at each meeting, maybe it's put onto the app, I don't know. But there's a lot of good stuff that would have happened in this room over generations, as we learn. So I'm sure that there's plenty that can be done there. I'm sure there are other people who've got ideas other than me.
Yes, when
We've got another 5 minutes or so, but if it's still going, then we can run over a little bit.
Yeah, Jeremy was saying we need to know what companies can do. But I think everyone knows Leon is making a knowledge database, or not? Yeah? Okay.
I think it was coming for Leon. I think it can be just more easy. We don't need someone to collect the data. It's like they've said, everybody has the access to Marina. Just put it in, and it's no need to send Excels all over the world and someone to collect this data. Just put it in, and everybody has it. This is the idea of the Marina. It's just in time, so it's much more easy.
To bounce back on Jeremy's idea, I would suggest maybe, and it's just a suggestion, but something that can be done. In the startup world, sometimes you have events when they gather up and they have 150 seconds to present their firm, to present something that they have done. 150 seconds is very short. That gives us a lot of time to present 2, 3, or 4 member firms at each meeting. So I just wanted to share this idea that exists and can be done on a very short amount of time, and that can be probably implemented in future during INAA's meetings.
Okay, someone mentioned earlier the knowledge base, which we do have. In addition, I think that we are just like doctors. You go to a doctor, you go to a family doctor, he sends you, I hope not, to a heart surgeon, or a brain surgeon, and there are specialists for each of these areas who give you the best treatment in the hospital. We need to develop our specialities. I have to be careful with the word speciality. In American English, it's specialty or specialism, but we have to develop our own specialist fields of knowledge, and we already have them. We don't need to develop them, we have them. And what we will be doing shortly is writing to each of you to ask you what is your special field. In my case, I'm going to write down electronic e-commerce, distribution. There's something new of the OECD for distribution, and I'll think of a few other things. I'm sure you've each got your own special fields, and we need to know what they are. Then if someone from a different country needs something, not in that country, but in that field, we are ready. Now, the importance of this is how we're going to beat the big 4 accounting firms and the big law firms. We're going to be better in our specialties than they are. And the fields I've mentioned, I already know that's the case. So I listened here very intently to what you were all saying. I wasn't going to come up and speak, but now I'm here. I think we should conclude on specialities, please.
Yes, so Leon is right. However, I don't think a survey is the best because you do not answer surveys. So I think you should all make sure that your profile on INAA covers everything you want. INAA is well done, even I know it's not 100% what we want, but still there is a good search engine. So you can search for keywords. So if you search for e-commerce and that Leon has put that he's an expert on e-commerce, we will find Leon. If you look for an expert on AI, and that on Skurzerman's firms, or even on her own profile, Chade has put that she can help on AI, even if she's not an expert, but she's knowledgeable enough. She will pop up. So I think that's really the best. Don't think I'm going to send a survey because I know I won't get replies, or only from a few of you. But look at your profile on INAA.
I think part of our network is the strength. It's all about relationships. And I heard someone once tell me that software developers think they can build a database to solve all the world's problems. And the problem with databases is they have to be accessed. I think maybe one thing we could do is like thank members for successful referrals. So like whoever it is, you know, publicly on my email, say thanks for this, and particularly if it's a specialisation, but just any referral, and then that way we know who the big fish are because they're being thanked. Plus, we're getting good reinforcement.
To get to thank you, we have to start with please.
Yeah.
So we have to know what we're each good at. Now, if we're not going to answer surveys, then we're going to have to contact each of you, one after the other, to get an answer from each of you. We're all busy people, I understand what the problem is.
Why not just ask? I was sitting there, I have clients where I need help in sustainability. Australia's a long way behind the rest of the world. But I know there are firms that are good at this. Why not just ask? I have this client, can somebody help me and my client?
I'm going to offer that the fish that we saw, I'll do one for Rena, okay? And we can use this idea of thanking people for referrals. So whereas we use it internally for recognising our staff, why don't we have so all it is an online form that any member can go in and say, this particular member, a nice thank you, or basically an internal referral, social proof, something that really is nice. That will then get emailed to the member as a thank you. And we can decide whether or not we're going to have the nominating member's name on it or not, whether it's anonymous, that's a discussion. But then we can do, at each meeting, we can maybe pick 3 or 4 at random, like we do in my firm, and actually have a shout out, something like that. Okay, I'm going to just pass over to Fergus for the last word, and then we're going to finish.
I just wanted to broaden the concept of a referral. Perhaps it's also just help. So if we're posting on forums and somebody uses an idea, and then we just, to me that's as good as a referral.
Thank you very much. I think you're absolutely right. Any way that we show we've demonstrated value to our other members. I would like to thank you all. So hopefully that was something that you saw and you've kind of got some value out of it, even if you weren't at this stage happy to join in the circle. But maybe if we do it again, you'll feel a bit more comfortable. And aside from that, I'm going to pass over to Nadej. Oh, by the way, last night was the second meeting of the INAA Karaoke Club. Everyone is entitled to be a member of the INAA Karaoke Club, so we will be meeting again in Panama. So just so you know, you don't have to wait to be invited, just come along.
Is there a session tonight?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, we should. Okay.